Live from the Injured on the Go Just Call Mo studio.
It's a blast!
It's Orlando's own Tom and Dan.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We've got Chef Pat and Eric here from HollerBachs German Restaurant.
Jesus, it's too early for
First
that.
blast of the year, man. First blast.
Chef Pat is dressed like
Hudson Hawk. He's dressed like a cat burglar. Are you going to pull off the largest heist of all time?
I would never tell you.
Yeah.
That's
You
a
look
badass
good.
watch you got
Yeah.
there. By the
Well,
way.
yeah. Look. This is what happens when somebody comes in here with some style.
Yeah.
Instead of you and I don't know what look I'm going for, but apparently it's small dying man, and I don't know what look you're going for. I think it's dude freaks out and becomes gay runner, leaves his family. That's what happens.
I need a
You're
big,
going for Dallas Buyers Club. That's what you're
big
going for.
gold watch.
You do.
And
We've
then
talked
a
about
chain.
this before. No, you can't do the chain. You're not there yet.
I want the chain on the outside like weirdo Zuckerberg.
Okay, you can do that. You can do that, but only if you put a boat prop on the end of it. Because
So
you're a
Florida
guy.
man. You can do it.
Yeah, you're a
I
Florida
know.
guy. You can do
Florida
it.
businessman.
But there's got to be a dangler
that's-
on the end of it. It's
No-
got to be
no
a
dangler,
mai.
just a chain. You'll be fine.
No, I don't think he can do the dangler. He's got to have a mai. He's got to have a boat prop. He's got to have like a.
How about a gold hurricane symbol?
That would work.
Okay,
That would work.
yeah.
That would absolutely work. A UM? Oh, hell yeah.
No, like the actual symbol for a hurricane.
Like the swoosh.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's very morbid. And engrave your dad's name on the back of it or something.
Before
Make
we
it extra
start,
morbid.
Eric from HollerBachs, I didn't know this, but he is a Godzillaman.
Yeah.
And he was very impressed by our Godzilla pinball machine.
amazing.
Yeah, I'll put the camera on so those of us that are watching on Twitch and YouTube, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live or
Wait.
YouTube at Tom and Dan Live.
Can I just spend the whole interview playing that? And you just have the camera on me
I
so we
would
can
say
see my
you
high
can,
score?
but Tom has a problem concentrating doing the show when people are playing pinball. He yelled at my wife, called her the C word.
No, I didn't.
Called her the
I
C
did
word.
not.
Yeah, it was
No,
aggressive.
I just
He
what-
was drunk.
like, no, you.
He's always over the Christmas all I did was get drunk and play that game. It's so fun.
So you.
Thepinballdudes.net. If you're looking to rent pinball or put it in your home, you can make that a reality. It's awesome.
Chef Pat, first Eric is like, oh, you got Godzilla pinball. I was like, I love Godzilla. Then Chef Pat's like, oh, yeah, Eric has a whole room in his house dedicated to Godzilla.
What?
And I was like,
Well,
what?
no, it's all sprinkled out. You know, I've got some
You can't
artistically
sprinkle
done.
Godzilla.
yeah.
It's
Godzilla sprinkle?
Godzilla. He doesn't
Yeah,
sprinkle.
the first thing you see when you come into my house is like a 3-foot tall Godzilla statue that's sitting on a bookshelf facing my door. That has maybe scared me way too many times.
You have a
It's true.
3-foot tall real
Yeah.
Godzilla officially licensed.
That's right. Oh, of course. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, you
know,
don't-
I
you don't-
don't want to knock off.
You don't run the
Godzilla.
junk, do you? This is a real Godzilla month.
That's
Is this
right.
a Weird Hobby Wednesday? I feel like it's Weird Hobby Wednesday.
Yeah.
Can we do that? Can we do like a hybrid?
How does your wife let you have it? My wife
It's
gets mad
cool.
when I leave my
Wait a minute,
sandals on the
your-
floor.
but your wife has a
Like, get-
singing Satchmo doll in the middle of your living room. It's no different than a 3-foot tall Godzilla.
I'll leave my workout shoes near the garage door. She's like, I tripped in the goddamn shoes again,
Yeah.
and she'll kick him out of the way.
Hey, have you seen how big his hokas are? He looks like it looks like he's wearing. It looks like he's wearing 2 emergency airline wraps.
So when'd you get into Godzilla?
Ooh. Honestly, so I was super young. I remember watching Godzilla vs. King Kong when I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I was hooked. Got to watch, lots of giant fighting monsters,
It's a
The
shame.
new school Godzilla versus King Kong, right? Not,
That is the silliest movie of all time, and I love it so much. It's like they know how cheesy it is. They're finally like saying heck with trying to be any kind of serious. Like it's just like we're gonna put all these monsters. They're gonna beat each other up for an
Yeah.
hour and a half, and you're gonna love it.
Yeah, my dad too would sprinkle in the occasional Godzilla movie. Coming home from the video store, I know I'm older than you, but my dad would bring home like they'd slip one in. He tried. I think he was trying to get it past mom.
well, you're watching the old school Godzilla, like
Yeah,
Japanese films, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think
yeah.
it's Toto or Toho
Yep,
is
yep.
the production company there. And I think they're awesome. I mean, especially the first 2 that I've seen, especially the first one, it still holds up. There's a reason it should be protected at all costs. I mean, it is a piece of film history. But what kind of other stuff do you have? What kind of Godzilla gear do you have?
I don't have I have lots of artwork, so lots of posters, stuff like that. Board games. I've got like 2 or 3 of the Godzilla board games that I wouldn't say are the best in the world, but I do personally love having them.
But the newer school Godzilla, or you're talking like the old school vintage Godzilla. Like
these
you
are-
have to want
actually,
like one more than the other.
These are stuff I picked up at MegaCon a few years ago. So it's somebody's interpretation. It looks, very Japanese, very old
okay.
school looking. Yeah, super cool.
I need to have some sort of interesting thing in my life. I have
But
nothing.
okay, hold on. Before
you come
we
to my house, there's nothing.
Yeah.
I have nothing on display.
yeah, you
that's-
do. Your pictures of your kids. I would think that's sort of your hobby.
Everyone has kids.
I know.
That's not interesting at all.
But like I don't
No,
know.
I'm just saying, like in general, having kids
You
is
either have
nothing.
kids or you have
Yeah,
Godzilla
right.
posters on your wall, I
And
guess.
I think that is the trade.
Right.
I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
believe
I
that
play
is the
disc
trade.
golf. I have video games.
Yeah.
I have board games. I play dungeons. I have tons of hobbies and 0 kids.
Yeah,
Well,
this guy's living the dream.
Yeah, but
Tons of kids, 0 hobbies.
But like, do you
kids aren't
want-
interesting at all.
Let me ask you a very important question, though. Do you want the hobby because you want the hobby? Or do you want the hobby just so you can sit on a couch on a podcast like Eric and say, oh, the first thing you see when you come into my home is a 3-foot-tall Godzilla? Because it sounds like you're just looking for something to tell people you do.
I just want other people to think like this guy's interesting.
Right.
You know,
I
they're
was
saying,
right.
like,
Then
he-
I was right.
He's
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
something. He likes
You
this.
answered
He
the
collects
question.
this. And
Yeah.
I don't. I'm
Well, start a
on
collection.
zero.
Start a collection.
It used to be that I
I
had a
got one.
podcast that was interesting. Now that's out of the window.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't matter
No,
anymore.
everybody's got podcasts.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like that's not interesting at all to have a podcast. Anyway, sorry, Chef Pat.
We
let's
need a
talk.
collection for
Hey.
you. Think on that. The listener, we put it out there in the universe. The listeners will think about it, and we'll get back to you. But I think collecting something would be good for you and the sons.
But I'm not interested in anything.
Are the boys?
Yeah.
What do they want to collect? Ask them what they want to collect.
They're too young. They're jump from one thing to the other. Now Tommy's watching Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
He went for he consumed all the anime.
Yeah. He's like, I'm done with it. I've
except-
seen enough heads getting chopped off and Japanese boobies. I'm moving on to Bob's Burgers.
Well, we wouldn't let him watch the TV mature.
Yeah, I'd
anime.
stop watching it too if you took away that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was good until you took away the boobies.
I don't want to watch the kids ones.
Yeah, exactly. They're boring. I don't want to watch that. I want to watch some good stuff.
Let's talk about Salvatore Doppelbach because
Is that your online? That's your Ashley Madison name, is it? No, hold on. I'm writing that down. What is your name on Ashley Madison?
Salvatore Doppelbach.
Salvatore Doppelbach. And what do you do on Ashley Madison Salvatore, if I may ask you?
it's a beer and it's a very rare beer that HollerBachs has now on tap.
Okay.
And so, from what I read on your guys' social media, that is it Paulaner?
Paulaner.
Okay, sorry.
Paulana.
So that person.
Say it like Pat, say Polana.
This dude has been.
You know what? Whenever there's something hard to say, just look into the camera and say "Bundlerooski doo," like old Andy Reid.
So this beer has been brewed for 375 years.
Right. It's one of the oldest. It's the OG Doppelbock.
Yep.
And Doppelbock is it's like a double
alcohol, like,
double goat is literally what it translates into. A Bach is a goat. But so it's like, 7 to 9% generally, so it's a little bit stronger than most beers. And the monks brewed it during times of fasting because it was such a rich beer that they could get nourishment off of it while they weren't eating. So they would this is their liquid bread, literally.
So there's like just so many, it was so calorie dense.
Yeah.
Right.
That,
You've
you
said
can
that
live off
this
of it.
is truly unique because you've told us that this was coming. Obviously.
It's my favorite beer.
Yeah, and you said that it is it's delicious, right? Describe what is it, if you can, what is it like? What does it taste like, or what is it? Is it thick? Is it light? Is it?
So most German beers are not thick, even the dark beers. It's not a wheat beer, so it's not like creamy like a Hefeweizen or anything
So
like
you would
that.
just
It's
say go and try it.
It's malty.
I love malty beers.
Me too.
Has a
It's
little bit of
weird that
sweetness to it,
when
right?
you
Yeah.
drink beers, you do kind of go through a flavor, like a flavor switch at some point. We're going to have the guys talking about Orlando Beer Week in a little bit later too. But I'm more on a malt.
Yeah,
thing
I
now.
like the sweeter, maltier kind of beers as opposed to bitter IPAs
Yeah.
or pilsners or stuff like that.
But
Yeah.
it's a super rare beer, and HollerBachs is one of the only places
Oh,
in
as
the
far
United
as I
States.
know, it's the only. As far as
Yeah.
I know, I will tell you guys.
The only
As far as
place.
I know, it's the only place you can.
We
get
were
it.
at
On
least the
tap.
first place to get it in U.S.
There you go.
But yeah, that's what I was told was they were importing it just for us
Yeah.
because they don't normally. And we have done stuff like this with different breweries where we got the only run that they ship to America because we go through enough volume. They'll let us know 6 months ahead of time. Hey, we're gonna have 20 kegs of this beer.
Nice.
How many do you want? And we say 20. So
Right.
Gotcha. And so that's available now, but I'm sure for a limited time until
for
it
sure,
runs
for a
out,
limited time, we've been pretty busy the last couple of weeks, so I know we've been going through it.
I saw English Dave on there drinking a non-alcohol
Yeah,
beer.
yeah,
Like, can you talk a little bit about this because
Yeah, we've got.
it's super trendy right now. If for the even I see people even like raving alcoholics. They're like, no, they're shaking. They're like, no, I drink non-alcoholic now because it's super trendy. I was like, oh, you're gonna kill yourself. But no, like it's good to be able to be a little healthier,
Sure.
or just safer behind the wheel.
Sure.
So what is this beer? Tell us
So
about
we
this.
have a non-alcoholic Kolsch, which is kind of on brand for us. Our house beer is a HollerBachs Kolsch beer, and one.
By
of,
the way, I love that beer.
for sure,
That's,
for sure.
I call it that's Theo's beer,
That's
right?
Theo's beer,
Yeah, I
right.
just call it Theo's beer because I don't really know. I don't know what it is. That like I'm kind of a
Yes, one with Theo's face on the tap.
Yep, I just say give me the Theo beer.
But yeah, so it's that style of beer, but it's non-alcoholic, and also it is the same as our quote unquote the gluten-free beer. It's made with the gluten extracted, so not only alcohol-free but gluten-free.
Nice.
I hate gluten.
Yeah, me too.
Those
I
darn
know what it
glutens.
is.
It's my enemy. I don't even really know what it is. I bought gluten-free oatmeal by mistake because I don't know if you guys know this. I'm old and I eat oatmeal now in the mornings.
Shouldn't all oatmeal be
Oh, yeah,
gluten-free?
Because when you're old, you have to get oatmeal in your belly to coat it. So just a little bit of spice you have on a ham sandwich doesn't blow diarrhea out of you because you're old. That's why you have to. That's what the oatmeal's for. Science.
So let's talk about this. HollerBachs is hosting a singles mixer for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
February
Yes.
14th. It is, I
Is
believe at 7
Salvador
o'clock.
Doppelbach going to be there? Are you gonna? Or is the Sheik possibly stopping by? Tom has yet to in 2025 wear his Sheik costume yet.
Tickets are $20. Comes with a welcome cocktail, some chocolates, a small buffet. And so the singles mixer. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
let's talk about this.
You ever been to a?
I've never been on a date, Daniel.
Okay,
I've been-
I wouldn't say that to people.
I've been on with the
I
same
wouldn't
lady
say-
since high school.
And the way you said it too, it sounded so weak. It's like I never been on a date.
I was 16 and a half when I met my
Ew,
wife.
gross.
And then that's it.
Oh my God, it's the
now I'm
movie
43.
Kids. It's the movie Kids. Gross.
And although I've had the spectrum,
You You have.
from teen to 43
You've
year
had
old.
it all. You've done some bad stuff.
I shouldn't say that. Anyway,
I would say that it's like,
Wait, should I brag about
You know what's
making
interesting?
love to my teen wife?
Yeah, that's you know what's interesting is
That happened. I was
you
16 too. What?
have, based on just your pattern of a relationship, you have pedophile memory, and I do not. I do not because I met my wife when she was 21. But you, sir, you are a future pedophile.
Yeah. Sometimes when
You're
I
a memory pedophile.
when I look at young pictures of Crystal, I'm like, oh, this chick is. Then I'm like, oh God, should I even
Yeah. And then you go, that's my daughter. And it's not. But you're so
No, it's
drunk.
like,
you
it's
don't
my
even
wife.
know. Yeah.
It's my old wife, but
Yeah.
young. And then I'm like, wow, she's hot when she was young.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm like, oh God, I
look at her
shouldn't
now.
pick that.
You ever hold the picture? Sometimes you ever get an old picture of your wife and hold it up, and then she's in the background, and you look at it, and you're like, it's not the same person. You ever do that?
Oh yeah.
I don't do that. I got some pointers for you
Okay, all right.
because I think we should send you out there because you said that this would be the scariest thing you would ever have to accomplish.
Well, okay.
Tell me about you at the singles night at HollerBachs.
I don't know.
What's it called? The worst way to find love? I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. The best way to find love.
It's well, first I feel like the pressure of like when you sit down because I guess everybody's around.
That's on the list right here.
Okay, what?
you got to shift the mindset. Frame the mixer as an opportunity to make new friends rather than focusing on dating and putting pressure on yourself.
I don't like new friends.
And then it also goes on a little. It says, take breaks. Step outside to acquire a quieter area if it feels overwhelming, little baby. You got to go out there. Oh, you got to go out there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
hold
going to
on.
pass out.
Yeah, but all I'm looking for is to smash.
Okay, I'm glad you
That's what
said
the
it
kids
like
say.
that. Say, all I
Chef
want to
Pat
do
knew.
is get it in. Hey.
No, not to say that.
Cabs here. Cabs here.
And then I feel like I'm sitting at the table and I'm
Yeah,
talking
you're
to
sitting
a
across
lady.
from Snooki.
And then what do we talk about?
Yeah, hold on.
All I know about is football.
It says right here.
And I can
I
complain
got
about
it.
my wife.
I got it right
Talk
here.
about my wife and kids. Like,
Well, my ex-wife. I can tell you how much of a
What
bitch
a
my ex-wife.
bitch! You gonna let me get it in?
That's all-
And then start fist pumping. It says ChatGPT told me to have you prepare a few icebreakers. And then it gave you some icebreakers. It says have some go-to topics or questions ready, like asking about their favorite places in the city or hobbies. It can help avoid awkward silences. You are Mr. Awkward Silence. Here's a couple of icebreakers. What's the best thing you've done this week? That's some nerd ass. Number 2.
What's the best thing you've done
What's
this
the
week?
best thing you've done this week?
I think we're having a pretty great podcast.
Here's number 2. If you could instantly master any skill, what would it be? Don't use these. Don't use these. Ooh, what's your go-to comfort food? Mine's mac and cheese.
My
What's your
God.
favorite place you've ever traveled to? Mine is one time I visited my mother in South Florida. Have you tried anything new lately? Food, hobbies, anything? What's a fun fact about you that most people don't know? I have an inverted nipple.
My God. I mean, is there any chance?
This is making you uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, but I guess how else do you meet people? You know, like, you know.
If
you
you
have
were a
to-
vegetable, you'd be a cucumber. They gave me some bad ones, too.
Because I feel like the pendulum is swinging back from online only dating because everybody's heavy into it.
I like this
And-
one. On a scale of 1 to America, how free are you today? I've never heard that one. I've never heard that.
That just did it.
ChatGPT gave me, on a scale of 1 to America, how free are you today? That's a badass pickup line. Have you guys ever heard that?
I mean, it was probably really popular yesterday.
I never heard that. That's an old thing?
I've never heard.
I have never heard that before. I'm gonna start using that. I'm gonna use that with my
That's
wife.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm Bahamas free.
What does that mean? That means you can do crime too. I mean, yeah.
You started, you're like, do they have a king? I don't know. I have no idea how their democracy works. Who knows how the Bahamas government works?
This one
No
we can't
clue.
use. I even told AI that we were at HollerBachs, and it says, I said, yeah, we're doing a mixer, the worst way to find love at HollerBachs, German restaurant, and then it gave me this as a pickup line. So what's a nice person like you doing at this place? I can't use
agree.
that.
I agree.
I can't use that. That's unusable.
I heard it on Tom and Dan. So let's end with this. I also saw on HollerBachs.com that you guys, and
You
you've
guys
been
have
doing
a
this for a
ton
while.
of stuff going on. You must be exhausted.
But the
I mean,
catering-
truly, all I just want is the schnitzel.
So
That's
and
it.
speaking of the schnitzel,
I'm an easy boy.
if I go to a function and you got a HollerBachs catering,
Oh.
I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's top tier.
You know, it does instantly make me not hate my boss.
yeah. Like,
Because
you got HollerBachs? All right.
I know they bought good food. You know, like it's not
Yeah,
the
yeah,
pizza.
yeah.
Don't do pizza party. Get out of here with that.
Chick-fil-A.
Don't do that. No, get a real restaurant.
Jersey Mike's.
Get a real restaurant. Don't get fast food.
Put a
for your-
sausage in your mouth.
Yeah, don't get fast food for your team. That's garbage.
So what's a good group for
Hmm.
HollerBachs catering? Like, are we talking catering for 50, for 35,
Whatever.
100? You know,
Whatever.
hundreds.
We just did. How big was the one out on the coast?
Oh yeah, we drove all the way down to what is it? The
Merritt Island
Yeah,
or
and
something
there
like
was- there was
that.
200 people.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, no big deal.
So that is awesome. I mean, you have an event coming up. Get a hold of HollerBachs. Get that HollerBachs catering, and it's going to be a hit.
I'm so
100%.
hungry. I'm trying to starve myself. I'm not able to.
Or if you're flying out of Sanford Airport,
yeah, let's
Yes,
talk about
okay.
that. Yeah. What do you guys offer at the Sanford Airport?
schnitzel, just what you wanted, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I can get a schnitzel before I board.
For sure, and many people that we know have, and say it's just as good as the HollerBach schnitzel.
I think that's fantastic, man.
Yeah, so Chef Pat took a week and went over there and trained their staff how to do our HollerBachs recipes. We have our flatbreads there, the pretzels with cheese dip there, a couple of sausage, our sauerkraut, schnitzel, Jaeger schnitzel.
Yeah, so it's just pared down, but like some of
Yeah,
your favorites are
For
that's
sure.
killer.
They have the HollerBachs Kolsch on draft there.
Oh, no way.
And they have a few other German beers. You can get Bud Light there too, I guess, because they have
No.
to. but yeah, I
And
know.
for those of you that are nervous flyers, a Kolsch will do you just
They'll
fine.
recommend otherwise. They've got a really good staff. Christina and Chris went over there and trained. English Dave went over and helped
That's cool.
the bartenders and the bar staff. So
Dave's a good dude, man.
Yeah, and most of them have come through the restaurant to see what we're about. We're still trying to get the whole staff there on one night when they can. But yeah, they got trained by our staff how to be a mini version of us, just because we told them, if you guys get bad reviews, we're going to hear about it, right?
Sure, yeah,
They're
yeah.
going to think it's us. But luckily, so far, all we've gotten is good reviews, and we have gotten tagged in it on socials and stuff. So yeah, kudos to those guys for doing a good job. I think we've got is it a thing grand opening this week, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, on Thursday. But
But it's
I think it's only for
past
those flying.
security,
Yeah.
so you have to have a ticket or security clearance to
It's
get
at
there.
a gate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so-
at
Well,
the
it is
gate.
nice that they offer something like that. 'Cause sometimes,
Yeah.
I used to hate it when you get to a gate and then they're like, "Well, sorry, you're in," and there's literally nothing down here of quality. So you're, what are you eating? A bag of jelly beans and a
Yeah,
Gatorade?
McDonald's. Yeah,
I'm not-
yeah.
I don't want to do that, man. And again, for me, like I'm a nervous flyer. You know me. Like what I would always go to a bar. I got to get myself a beer and get myself fed.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like a piece of crap on the plane. Like.
No, I raw dog it. No drinks, no food. I don't want to have
How
to
do
get
you
up and go to
do
the
that?
bathroom. I flew to and from Germany. I peed once both trips.
You're not a nervous flyer, are you? Oh my god, are you? You really are.
If I can fall asleep, but I didn't. I
Yeah.
didn't fall asleep, and then
Yeah,
I'm just
I don't
like,
pee. I just hold it
Yeah.
for I can hold it for a 24-hour flight. I feel
Legit.
like.
You're missing out on one of the greatest pleasures in life, which is getting so drunk on an airplane you don't care if it crashes.
I've never.
Oh my God, you jumped in my brain.
That's awesome.
I need to be sober. I can't.
Do you know
no,
how many
being so-
times
you're like,
I am-
I don't care what happens.
Yeah, there's a state of airplane nirvana that what Professor Tom is speaking of is an actual occurrence. Trust me, as the most nervous flyer, or one of, you get in there and you start looking in the mirror and you're hammered and the plane's moving.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not
And you're
nervous
peeing
at all.
Yeah, and you're like, I feel fine. You're like, why is it such a big deal? And you're like, if we die, we die. I don't even care. In fact, I'm going to get another drink because I don't think we feel even better.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Freaks me out.
Well,
Then
Chef
the
Pat,
Xanax kicks in,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you're out. Then
Then
you
it's-
Heath Ledger yourself. You can't walk the next day.
Chef Pat, Eric, thanks so much for stopping by.
Good seeing you guys, man.
Thanks,
Congrats
guys.
on all the fun stuff coming up on the worst way to find love. Sign up for that singles mixer, guys.
Yeah, again, that's on February 14th. Go to HollerBachs.com. Just follow them on social media. That's the easiest thing to do.
It'll make you hungry, but
all-
follow them, please.
You'll find out about all the promotions. It'll
We'll be
pop
back at
up.
the stadium this year too for men's soccer games, the 20 seconds
Okay.
opening game. So
I'm
we'll be there
glad
again.
you said it. I didn't
Awesome.
want to be that guy. I was going to ask, but I didn't want to. I think
Your
you're
hat
creeping-
made me think about it.
You're creeping in my head now. I didn't want to put him on the spot and then have him go like, "No, we're not doing that anymore." And I'm like,
We have not re-upped the contract.
Our trick was to bring a schnitzel specifically for our guy Matt at the stadium. He's
Nice.
the one who's hired us. So
And
every
one,
single game,
and when the head of security wants a
yeah,
schnitzel, he'll
absolutely.
message
Yeah,
us and let
right.
us know. So
yeah, it's all bribery. It's the
Yeah.
only reason why we're there.
Well, you guys
Yeah.
are the secret pretzel hack, is what I've been hearing. Is that's the place to go. So glad you're back with Orlando City. That's awesome.
for sure.
Yep, it's HollerBachs.com.
Yep.
Again, follow them on social media.
HollerBachs German Restaurant. Get out there, try it.
in downtown Sanford.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
we will be right back.
Welcome back to a corporate time.
So yesterday, the kids had off of school for Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when I got home, of course, Crystal had to go show some houses. And
Did we get that? Just a quick question.
What?
Do you remember not being in school for Martin Luther King Day?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a federal holiday.
I don't remember any of that stuff. Like any of the holidays we had. I mean, it's not surprising. I do have a terrible memory. But anyway.
Yeah, it just runs together.
Yeah.
Although it does seem like they have way more time off than we did as far as like end of the year. I don't remember getting
Again,
2
I'm not
weeks.
trying to be that guy, but yeah, I am eking into that territory.
but it's probably the same.
Did
anyway.
we have off? Did I have off on Martin Luther King Day?
So I get home,
Yeah.
and of course they're playing Roblox or whatever.
Hell yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, enough with this. We're
Oh, no,
going outside.
You scream it ins today?
Yeah, well, I'm just like,
Yeah.
get ready to go to the park.
Daddy's declaration. The park?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I don't want to go to the park, especially
They don't
because
want to
it's
go to the
cold.
park.
They
They
don't
want to play video. Have you played
Yeah.
video games?
Too much screens.
Dude, you gotta give in. You gotta give in to the
No,
screen.
it's messing with their brain. They're becoming addicted to it,
Okay.
and I really do believe that just
You're their
it
dad. You're gonna
messes
know
with their
better than
brain.
anybody. I got you.
And so I'm like, all right, let's go. So we
Are
load
they
up all
hemming
the
and
balls.
hawing? Are they like, this is...
No, they're used to me and Crystal saying enough. We only give an hour on days off and the weekends, and we give them a little more. Anyway, it's just we're constantly in a battle over. They would rather just be on screens,
Sure.
and I want to get them outside.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
The park.
we go to the park.
God, the park. What are you going to do?
We load up all the
It's
balls.
so generic, too. It's like, hey, what are we going to do? Oh,
Yeah.
throw a ball, kick a ball. It's so generic.
Yeah,
Oh, God, give me the video games.
Yeah. That's how
Sorry,
they
I'm
think.
not trying to be that side, and
Yeah.
you can punch me if you would like.
No. You're right. They're right. I'm just
It's just so
fighting
think
it.
about how generic that is, like a red rubber ball.
Yeah.
And then you what? Go down a slide? Do you want him to go down a slide? Is that what you want him to do? We have cars that drive themselves, man.
They used to go down the slides and enjoy the actual playground of the
Until
park.
they
but
got
they're
into
too
the
old.
net. They're in the net now.
Yeah, now it's a 9 and 10. There are
You know why they call it the net? Because it catches little boys. That's why it's called that.
basketball courts there, but
They're not basketball boys.
No.
No offense.
No.
No offense.
The whole Van family. Although I did tell them that when I was in 9th grade, I tried out for the Southwest Junior Varsity basketball team.
And you made it, right?
No, I didn't.
Hey, but you tried out.
I did,
You
yeah.
tried out. Back to the lesson at hand. Teaching moment. You tried out.
Which, as I'm telling them the story, and I remember trying out, I think to myself, that's a weird thing for me to do. That
is one. You know what? You told this story before, and it is odd to me as your friend and business partner.
Doesn't
that
sound like me.
I never flagged this on your chart, right?
Yeah.
If I'm your physician, you've told me this story probably 6 times. I've never gone, that's a little weird. Why'd you want to try for basketball? Who was your favorite basketball player? What was your favorite team?
I must have been pressured into it, or
By who?
or the coach is like,
If you don't do it,
no, or
you're
like
the worst.
just telling everybody like, Van, do you want to try out for the basketball team? I'm like, okay. I just say, and then I just was forced to go.
We need some boys to try for the basketball team. Van will do it. Right, Van. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I can't imagine that with my own free will, I chose.
Can we call
to-
your mom? Would she remember?
She would never remember.
She would never know.
No.
What about your sister? Would she know?
No. No one will know.
We got to get to the bottom
No
of
one
this.
will know.
Where did the
Could be a
infamous-
false memory.
No, but what if it was just that one? What if you were supposed to be the world's greatest basketball player and you just never?
No,
Your
never
spark,
wasn't that.
your spark went, and then you know, like
I'm horrible at
almost
basketball.
like a biblical parable.
I was
almost like your talent. You know, you don't want to hide it under a bushel. No.
wasn't good.
Let
back
your
then,
light
I don't know.
shine.
Anyway, so we decided to play kickball.
Okay.
And I brought some
I
cones
knew it.
out.
How did I know you were going to play the most generic white guy?
Yeah.
Hey guys,
Well, it's the only.
play kickball.
It's a good sport for white people because we can't. It's hard for us to do any other sport.
Yeah, the good ones.
We're not playing. I bought them baseball gloves, but the glove is too hard. I've been pounding them for
you gotta
days
practice.
with a mallet, and they can't even squeeze the glove together to catch the ball. It just bounces
wow.
off the glove.
Are they small gloves?
No,
Or are they
no.
big, giant man leather gloves?
They're stiff and
They're heavy.
yeah, they're like they can't catch it everywhere. And they don't have the hand-eye to hit they can hit the ball a little bit anyway. Kickball. I'm there. We're there to kill time at the park and get them off
And it's
the
better
damn
than
screens.
screens. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you, man.
I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
We're just at the park
Even if we're
outside.
just walking, talking.
Yeah. So
Strolling around the lake.
So we're there. And it's me versus the boys. We're playing.
Is it
and-
just you guys?
Yeah, just
Okay.
us. No one else really at the park either.
I would tag along, but
It's
my
cold
hips
as
and all,
balls.
I'd just be sitting there
Yeah.
complaining.
Actually,
You don't want to bring me because I'd be like, hey, boys, should we just get home and
yeah,
jump on the old
yeah.
Roblox? And you guys want a game? Let's do some
Yeah. I don't need to bring dead weight with me. Also, I don't want to bring anybody that's a better athlete than me to show my boys that I'm not the best
So you're not
athlete.
going to bring Vince Taylor along.
No.
Yeah, good friend of the show. New Blurred Order.
So anyway, some time passes. We play that. Then we play some basketball. We're messing around. And then Crystal
Are you
shows
pulling
up.
a wagon of balls? This is very wholesome. The Dennis says we don't go to the park and have the whole family show up. This is a very magical moment.
No. Maisie's working,
but
dancing.
But I love the fact that you guys get to spend. I don't even get to see her. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm complaining.
Yeah,
I love this. Is great.
So
this is a very, very wholesome, magical moment.
So it gets to the point where we're gonna play kickball. Crystal is gonna be like adults versus kids. And
shirts and skins. Have Crystal take her shirt off.
She's right.
Yeah. Shirts and skins. Mommy and Max. Okay, you guys are skins. Mommy, pull those things out. My business partner with bad hips has requested you take your shirt off. He's dying. And
the other kids are like, oh my God.
Look at those things. The only thing that would make me I'm on my deathbed. I'm going to write your wife later today and ask her if she'll show them to me.
This old lady swinging her teeth.
Don't say this, old lady.
I'm saying that from the mentality of a 14-year-old kid.
Take the conversation that we're having.
I'm not saying she's old. I'm saying a 14-year-old kid would.
She's beautiful.
When I'm 14, a 43-year-old woman's old.
Prime. 43-year-old woman, that's when they grind it. That's when they get on it. Okay, so hold on. Take this conversation and slide it to the side just for a second because I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
What do you think the odds are of us having a BDM topless kickball party? That'd be awesome, right?
Probably not going to get any participants except for all dudes.
All dudes are big, fat
no
dudes. Okay,
women want to participate.
Right, back to the kickball with mommy and daddy.
So then I say, all right, well, let's practice catching this ball. And by the way, we're not playing with a traditional red rubber kickball like you see, whatever.
Boom! Yeah, the one that makes the noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boom!
We're playing with a lighter, big green plastic Walmart ball.
Like a yoga ball.
Yeah, it was not.
It looked like a bunch of hobos out there.
It's probably double the size of a traditional kickball, and it's lime green, and it's some ball that the kids had. They bought at Walmart, and the big ball.
Oh,
bin,
I love those. I love the big ball bin.
So anyway, then I start kicking it as high as I can in the air for them to catch it.
Because everything with you is a feat of strength. Yeah.
And so
take it to the moon. Look at this, Uncle Rico.
So I do keep saying, watch how high I can kick it.
What if they didn't care?
Oh, they care.
They don't care about any of it.
Well, they're saying wow every time I kick it high.
Yeah, but because you do it all the time. It never stops.
So then I say, watch, I can kick it higher than this tree that's next to us,
Look
right?
at this. I can kick it higher than a building. Look, I get the boom. You're no different than the Costco guy.
So I straight up, like NFL punter, like 2 steps. Punt this thing where I'm trying to bring my leg up to my forehead, and I kick
like Maisie's doing a dance where she can kick her forehead.
I kick this thing higher than the tree next to us, and this tree's 30 foot tall.
Yeah,
and then it lands on the top of the tree. And so, situating the ball.
Oh, does Crystal tell you how you're ruining the environment?
No. Well,
plastic.
It lands in these branches, but kind of the branches go out like a U, like a
slingshot.
Well, kind of like
it's cradled in there.
Yeah, like a baseball pitcher would throw a fastball, like a
knuckle,
a knuckleball, whatever, and then
like Crabman's hands.
It just landed.
Like we have a lister that only has 3 fingers. It's like it landed in the Crabman's hand.
Yeah. Like the top of a wizard staff where the marble,
where
the jewel is, and the thing that cradles the jewel just landed in there tight.
I've always thought I'd bang the jewel out of a wizard staff. I would take that jewel.
So then I was like, oh, I remember this.
You have to shoot it out of the tree with your handgun. That's what a Florida man does.
Well, speaking of knocking it out of the tree, I remember this situation happening many times when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because
you played outside a lot.
Ball lands on top of tree, then you use other ball or rock to throw it at the ball.
It happens
and knock
online
it out.
too. On Roblox, you can get your digital ball stuck in a tree. You have to throw digital car keys. You're throwing everything up there.
Yeah.
Same thing.
So I'm like, don't worry. And the boy's like, oh no. And then I'm like, don't worry. This has happened to me a lot. I'm a child from the 80s. We got our ball stuck in the tree a lot. and we'd use other balls or rocks to throw it up there and knock it out of the tree.
Right.
It's a standard.
Yeah.
It's an 80s standard.
Well, you'd go, I mean, if you ran out of ball, sometimes you get your second ball, third ball stuck in the trees. Then sometimes you get your shoes stuck. I mean,
You start
you go
throwing your
hard.
tree,
You
yeah,
go
yeah.
hard. You go hard.
So then I go to our bin of balls. I start looking. I find a mini football.
You're a good dad.
What? What?
I haven't purchased one ball for my daughter. Not even one.
Oh, yeah, well,
You're a good dad.
yeah, I have a bin of balls no one uses. It's just
Yeah,
not
but I
by-
never had to purchase one. Like, there's been no interest in that.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah, is it frisbees? There's like some.
You're a good dad. You got all the toys back there, dude. You got yard darts,
a
cornhole. What do you want?
Of frisbee.
You got an aerobie back
Oh,
there? Dude,
tons of
aerobies
aerobies.
are awesome. Those are high dollars, like $14.
So I pick out a mini football and then I start trying to throw the mini football up there. But now, mind you, this ball is 30. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
you
probably
have to kick it up there.
it's above 25 feet for sure. Like it's at the tip top of this big ass tree
Nobody
at the
can
park.
tell. You can exaggerate if you want. It's fine. It's radio.
And because of the balloony nature of the tree, you have to kind of throw it at an arc over the
Yeah.
other
There's
branches
like
to
some
hit the
skill
top.
to
Yeah.
it, yeah.
So anyway,
What do the boys do? Have they wandered off at this point?
no, because I told them to go on it's next to the basketball court, so I have to throw. By the way, I saw a BDM there while I was doing this, and he was listening to our show. He's walking his dog.
That
he's
happens
like,
a lot.
He's walking by. He does a double take. He's like, Tom, and then while I'm trying to throw this, and then he's like, Tom, I'm listening to you on the show, and I'm like, all right.
You're doing gripes. You're doing gripes right now, man.
It is pretty. I think
It's weird.
it must be weird for that person,
But it's
'cause-
cool. It's like I want to hug that person.
'Cause
Like, I
I-
thank them.
Because I imagine, I'm like, I wish I was listening to one of my podcasters, and he was at the park bumbling around with his sons. You know, like that never happened to me.
Like Bill Simmons.
Yeah, anybody.
His daughter. Did he have a daughter?
Like I imagine listening to like the podcast I like about the NFL and betting, and then this all of a sudden I look over,
Yeah.
and
Then
there's
Moneyline Mike comes walking by.
there's Steve Fezzik.
That's Moneyline Mike.
And then he said, "Yo, at the park of the Suns." I'm like,
Oh my God!
Hey, but-
Who do you know who that is? The guy with the fedora? That's the Edge.
What an experience for that gentleman to be listening to his favorite podcaster, and there he is, right next to him. Anyway, so
So
throwing.
you gifted this man an experience.
Could you imagine
Yeah.
how awesome that was?
Can
for
we
him?
have a moment of silence for the experience you gifted this man?
I mean, that
please?
is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
And you got to see how strong you are.
I'm throwing the mini football, and I'm not even coming close. Which,
Well, your strengths are really in your legs. We know that from the speed challenge when
Well-
you were running 15, 20 miles an hour.
the problem is with the arc, throwing it 35 feet
Yeah.
in the
You
air.
lose some
Arc,
distance.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm bouncing it off the, so
That's
then
just physics. I watch SpaceX.
I start digging through the box of balls, and I find a baseball, and I'm like, all right, this will do it. The baseball.
Yes.
Now, mind you, Crystal's there, and then she is encouraging me because I spent about 15 minutes trying to throw the football.
Your wife is a lot more encouraging of you than my wife. My
Well-
wife does not encourage me at all.
She's encouraging me to give up.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
And-
never mind. I get a lot of that.
Because she's like, it's getting dark, and
Yeah.
you might as well just play something else.
You lost
and then
the ball.
Lost the ball.
You got to go to Walmart.
It was $2 at Walmart.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll just leave it up there. It'll eventually blow down, and some other kid will get it. Max, not so happy with this idea. He is kind of he's emotionally attached to things.
Yeah.
He does not want to abandon the ball.
I don't blame him. I'm kind of like that.
Tommy's a zero. You know,
There's
whatever.
literally nothing. The
But-
Geiger counter is dead. It's flat.
Max is like, it's our ball. I don't want to leave it here. Whatever.
That's the
And
Dan way. That's the Dan way.
And I talked all this about how this has happened in the 80s a million times, and I can get it down.
Yeah.
And so far,
And feats of strength.
no good. Yes,
Yeah.
feats of strength.
Yeah.
So I get the baseball, and then I'm like, all right, with this baseball, I could hit it, right? And I'm thinking to
When's
myself,
the last time you threw a baseball?
but,
I tried the other day. Like, it's not like, here, I got one right here. It's not.
yeah, I could throw a baseball.
I can throw it, but it's like, when's the last time you threw it as hard as you can? Is what I mean. It's like it's like when you ask me, when's the last time you ran like you were running from a lion? It'll break you, dude.
I race my sons a lot.
Yeah.
In fact,
And you run.
Yeah. So I often I keep that
for
up.
the average man, like even if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
in good shape, when's the last time you ran like you were like somebody was trying to kill you?
Most of my friends, I haven't run full speed in
Hard.
8 years.
Very hard.
So anyway, I started throwing the baseball. And speaking of when's the last time you've done this? Throwing, and this target is about, 18 to 20 inches in diameter.
It's like the size of
green
EJ's
ball.
head.
And it's up there on the top of a tree, 30 foot in there. Throwing a baseball at a 30-foot or at a 18-inch target on the top of a tree, harder than I thought.
Yeah, that's
way harder.
A tiny target.
I spent upwards of 25 minutes straight throwing the baseball over and over and over. One time I hit it, it bounced up a little bit and then seated itself back in the thing.
That's the worst. I would have left on that. I would have left on a win.
Yeah. I was hitting the, a bunch of times I got close. I was hitting the branch off of near it, most of the time.
What
not
are the
even
boys
close.
doing?
They're becoming more and more disinterested. Max is still worried they were going to leave
like
it.
you're losing him to the net.
Yeah. So then some teen boys that were also playing at the park saw me doing this.
Hey, look at this guy. It looked like he crapped his pants.
And you know what? Teens nowadays a lot more supportive than 80s teens. I feel like
80s teens were jerks.
Yeah.
I like the teens now are wimpier.
Yes.
And so they're nicer. Because they realize that those of us that are old heads, even in my state, I'm still meaner than they could ever be.
Yeah.
So they don't challenge me. They're very nice. I love these weaker teens.
Also, videotaping themselves doing whatever
weak
for
stuff.
social media
like
content.
silly dances and stuff. So,
So then the other teen, like some teens are like, hey, they're like, sir, I can give it a try. I played baseball or whatever. So then the other teen starts filming him for TikTok or whatever. So he's throwing it. He's not even close.
Yeah.
So he's.
I'm just gonna yell the N-word every time I throw this. And World Star.
Yeah. After 25 minutes, I was getting it dialed it in. And you know what I'm saying? This guy's
starting from zero.
Yeah,
You're like, give me the ball. Just get the hell out of here.
So it's getting dark, right? Yeah. Crystal's like, let's get out of here. I'm freezing.
I'm gonna ask it again. What are the boys doing?
Tommy's done with it. I think Tommy's sitting.
I love Tommy.
Sitting in the heated in Crystal's heated car.
I love Tommy.
Right. Yeah. So I think Crystal.
Tommy's the best.
At this point, it's like dusk, and then Tommy and Crystal are sitting in Crystal's car running.
I got tears in my eyes.
Yeah. We've got jackets on.
Tommy's sitting there with his mom.
The teens are throwing. They're not even close or whatever. And
what's
then,
Max doing?
Max, sitting in the car.
He's upset.
No, Max is.
Is he with you?
He's with me. Like, you could do it, Dad. Come on.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
And
I don't get a lot of that.
I had to tell myself, like, there may be a time that I'm gonna have to give up, and then tell my son, I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. We have to leave this out. We have to try again tomorrow. Like, it'll be here tomorrow.
Please tell me you got
We'll
it.
start getting it. Yeah,
Come on. Give me a happy ending here, man.
I said one more throw,
Give
right?
me one more shot.
And then I knocked it out.
Yeah.
It came down.
Let me give you a blast for that.
Max cheered. Crystal's like, fine, we can go.
Good, we got it. All right, get the hell out of here. $2 ball.
And
who cares? Why is everything a feat of strength with you?
Yeah, and then that was my day yesterday. So it was a little bit of kickball. Around 40 minutes of trying to get the kickball out of the tree.
And boys played kickball for about 3.5 minutes, and then Daddy for 2.5 hours trying to get a ball out of a tree.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if they'd had their iPads, they would have been sitting there on their iPads happy while you're trying to get the ball out of the tree.
Digital kickball.
That's what's great for iPads and phones. They're good for killing time, like when your dad's trying to get a ball out of a tree.
And then I did look at that whole day. 3 minutes kickball, the rest getting, then. And then
I'm starting to give in to everything.
And then I was like, well, what is better? Just Roblox the whole time?
I'm kind of giving in.
I'm
kind of at a giving in. I'm so sick of fighting.
What could happen if they just play video games all the time?
No one knows.
We'll have
it's
to
an
do
experiment. Let's do an experiment, right?
I did see some news report that like an insane amount more people in like 2060 or something, they said, will have dementia more than
dementia. What is that?
Dementia.
And
I have no idea why I didn't bother to read.
Dementia's for guys.
And I wonder if it has to do with some sort of overstimulation of the brain or something. But maybe that's gonna happen. I
naturally reject it. And maybe that's just because I'm older. I'm 48. But I find myself rejecting it. Like even video games. Like there are times when like I'll even want to play it. But I want the dopamine or whatever I'm getting from, let's say, playing the game. But my eyes or my brain is telling me like this is making me tired. Like this is not. I'm done with this. It's weird how I reject that.
Although I do use like let's say TikTok for. and this
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
ridiculous,
You
but
sent
like
us a couple of videos to play today.
but a micro learning.
Yeah.
It's like little
Most
video.
people use it for news.
And like news, I don't. That's not in my algorithm, but like science, other stuff, like
Well, I mean,
every video.
The term news, as in like, what do you
What's
want
happening?
to consume? You know,
yeah,
I mean,
pop culture stuff that's happening,
Yeah.
and like it is a version of micro learning, little videos.
You're touching on something. Let me ask you this question. I know we got to get out of here in a minute, but let me ask you this question because it came up on the Tom and Dan Reddit page. There's a guy that was asking, do we wish that we had, because he said back in the earlier days of the show, back when we were doing like BDM shows, earlier BDM shows, he said that we attempted to make the show very much like void of pop culture or any references that would be like almost like time markers, almost to make it like generic or evergreen in a way.
Yeah.
And I don't remember, honestly, having that conversation. I don't remember us actively deciding to do that. I feel like we've always kind of just done the show about our lives.
Well,
Especially like a mediocre time.
Well, that was before we did a corporate time, and that it takes up. Let's say we do.
So
like
at least 2-3 more hours a day.
An hour 45 Monday and Tuesday, then 45 minutes Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So essentially we're doing like 4 or 5 more hours of content throughout the week. So that takes, if we were just doing a Friday show and a Monday show, we could fill those shows up with just stuff that happened in our lives and it would be generic. But because we're doing all these other shows, like stuff that's happening in our own lives, there's only so much content, and then you have to go to pop culture and things happening, what I'm saying? So of course, back then we used to do the Friday show, plus we were on the radio,
so we burned a lot of our pop culture stuff there.
So we didn't want to talk about pop culture stuff because
kind of avoided it.
We already talked about it, so we just talked about our own lives.
Yeah, it's like a natural shift, I feel like.
Yeah, and we had the whole week to gather things to talk about for Friday, and then the weekend for Monday. And so now we're doing content throughout the week. Now, eventually, if me and Daniel live this long and we continue the show, we'll probably eventually get to the point where we're just doing a Friday and Monday show again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I can see that.
And when we're closer to retirement, and then we'll probably revert back to just talking about things that happen in our own lives and completely eliminating pop
I wonder
culture.
if they'll let me have a full like computer and gaming rig in a assisted living facility.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming
it's your own like
no, I'm
apartment.
I'm a roommate.
Oh, the poor ones are
Spanish roommate.
yeah. That's a real rough ones.
Yeah.
Or it's like more of a hospital.
Yeah, it's more of a like what's the divider? It's a curtain.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't have speakers. I got to use my headphones. You have to talk real quiet on the show.
Oh yeah.
Why is Dan whispering? Because he's in assisted living and he's got a roommate.
And Andrea, she'll put you in the cheaper one because
I
she's not
going
to put you. In
I don't even know if she would have a decision. In some weird turn of events, I feel like I end up becoming property of the government in some weird way. Like everyone just like I become.
Well, that's what I told Crystal.
Like nobody control. Like I'm literally under like a conservatorship of some sort.
Well, I told
And
Crystal
the government puts me in the worst facility.
if all those concussions I had eventually leads me to dementia.
Yes, like dementia.
I said, just divorce me, and we'll put it like everything's in your name anyway. And once we get divorced, and then just make me, a property of the state. It's because I
Right.
don't know what's going on, so you're not financially responsible for me.
Yes.
She's like, I'll never do that. I'm like, it's better for everybody. I won't know what's going on.
She also said one time on this show many, many years ago that if you were burned, like your body, your face was burned up like Walton Goggins from Fallout, that she would leave you because she wouldn't be able to lay with you anymore because you'd have a disgusted burn face.
Yeah. I like that. She said that. And I was like, good.
But she's
I agree
also
with that.
saying she would never leave you like in a assisted living. So on one hand, she'd be nice. With the other, if you're burned, she can't sleep with you anymore.
Well, because she feels bad that I don't know what's going on with the dementia,
Yeah.
but the burn is like I still have I know what's going on,
Would you
but I'm
sleep,
just ugly.
Could
so,
you sleep with your wife if she Freddy Krueger burns?
Oh yeah. I can
could
do
too. I can
anything.
sleep with anybody. That's the correct answer. I can sleep with anybody. I can sleep with anything. It's just the laws.
All right. We will see you tomorrow. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. So Orlando Beer Week is about to start this Friday.
You like beer?
I like beer.
I like beer. I've always liked beer.
Yeah, and I like beer for lots of reasons. A lot of it being the alcohol. I got to tell
Yeah.
you, the
I like the
non-alcoholic
flavors.
beer is fine.
I like flavors. I'm a flavorman.
When I'm not drinking the alcohol, I guess. But the alcohol is where it really gets me good.
Yeah, you do like that.
Yeah.
Loosens you up a little bit, makes you want to dance.
And I enjoy the taste of beer, all types of beer.
Yeah.
But
you know my favorite beer? Craft beer.
that's true.
It is my favorite beer.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to craft beer, or talk about craft beer, rather, with a craft beer mun?
I do.
Would you like to do that? On the couch with us right now, this gentleman is one street over from us, one street over from the illustrious and historical
I know.
Tom and Dan, Just Call Mo, Tom and Dan Studios. Now, some would say we were the original Just Call Mo studio. I don't know if you know this, but Just Call Mo scooped up the Real Radio studio as well. It didn't used to be the Mo studio.
Yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, trendsetters. But on the couch with us,
Gotta find out what he's paying for that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
yeah.
was going to get to. I thought you'd yell at me if I said that.
Someone email me.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
someone
Give us the
knows
details.
inside information.
Super Dave, your code still works. Super Dave, log in and steal the. Give us the numbers.
I can't ask Mo or
No.
Bustecker because
Mo will tell you off the record.
It's
You
none
just
of my
can't-
business.
You can't say
no,
you said
no,
it.
but it's unprofessional to ask him like, hey, what I don't.
But I'll
wanna-
ask him, 'cause I don't care
no,
about being
No,
unprofessional.
yeah,
I don't
that's why I
care.
keep you away from Mo.
Let me introduce
Because,
our
yeah,
guest.
okay,
On the
so-
couch with us, one street over. This gentleman and his partner make delicious beer. Is it now? Tom and I always get this wrong. Is it Tactical Brewing or Tactical Brewery? Because there's a big war in my mind. I don't know if you do this, but every single brewer we talk to, we get it wrong. But I got it right today.
You got it right for the first time,
Tactical
man.
Brewery.
Yeah.
And this is our friend Chris. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me
How
in,
are
man.
you? Thanks for being here.
Oh, I'm great, man. It's a good day.
Sorry that was a little bit of a weird intro, but we're weird guys that like beer. Let's get down to it.
How long have you been in that Baldwin location? I feel like it's been a long time now.
Yeah, man,
right?
we just did 6 years back in November.
Okay.
So we did our anniversary back in November, and so going on 7 coming up, man.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
It is very, very difficult to have a small business, let alone a small business where you're making things that go inside people's bodies.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, when you think about that and the amount of hoops that you have to jump through, and I'm sure the government makes it as easy as humanly possible for you to do your job.
Yeah, they let us do
'cause
whatever
that's
we
what they do.
want.
Yeah,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course.
Well,
No,
then
it's
you got to
fine.
deal with old man Baldwin. Whoa,
Yeah.
don't get you.
My God. Have you met
Goddamn
him?
Baldwin.
Have you met that guy? Oh my God.
We're actually
Telling
good
us-
friends now.
Changing
Yeah, they are
our
actually-
curtains.
I'm going to say something. Let's this is called a new story I've created called A Tale of Two Businesses.
Okay.
You have Tom and Dan come into Baldwin, and we don't like Big Baldwin, and we fight, and we yell, and look at this, what is this? Bear, bear, we complain. Then you have Tactical. They come in, and they become really good friends, and everybody around Baldwin loves them, loves their products, loves their beer, loves what they do for the actual Baldwin community, loves their events, loves their street parties.
Yeah,
And,
the people do,
the
but old
fellowship
man
and fun.
Baldwin is
No, I
trying
think
to
he
get
loves it.
you.
No, I think he loves it.
He's trying to,
No,
yeah.
he loves it. He hates us. That's the problem. So that's why we got to talk to Chris and talk about Orlando Beer Week a little bit. And maybe then Old Man Baldwin will shine upon us at that point.
So what is Orlando Beer Week?
So Orlando Beer Week started about 5 years ago as kind of a collection of brewers from around Orlando, right? So we had seen a lot of these cities like Oregon up there, up in like down in Tampa. They've got a great one. Like any major beer city was having like a big beer week kind of thing. And so
It'd be funny if there was Orlando Beer Week in Portland.
oh yeah.
I mean, you can
Just
do
doing it wrong.
It's
Yeah.
actually kind of funny. It would be funny to swap that like on Tampa, you know?
Right.
Do Tampa beers here and do Orlando beers in
I
Tampa.
might steal that as a halfway.
It's
of an
not
idea.
a bad idea.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
like that
mean,
idea.
Because, Chris and his guys are really big on like, they do a lot. You guys seem to do a ton of collaborations
Sure.
and work cohesively. Tom and I, we like to basically like stomp out our competition and
Yeah.
destroy them and drink, blood out of their skulls.
So it was basically just a week to celebrate all beer or all things beer.
Yeah, essentially it was kind of one of those ideas to kind of help propagate, the small business like you were talking about, and kind of a way for breweries to kind of either get together, collaborate, do a lot of really fun events, get really creative with whatever resources they have. And then we do a lot of like bigger events throughout the week too. And it's become this really cool thing that a lot of, even people outside of the beer industry have started to latch onto as like a fun way to kind of get involved with smaller businesses for a week and kind of highlight what they're doing.
So do all the breweries and like who I guess, comes together to participate in Beer Week? Or is it just an overall celebration of beer for everybody? Or is it a group of specific
Gotcha.
breweries?
Yeah.
Gotcha,
You know,
okay.
like, yeah. How does that work?
Yeah, so it started up as basically some business owners from 3 different breweries in the area. And we had kind of seen a lot of iterations come and go of an Orlando Beer Week. And I think by the time we had all gotten together, like the 3 of us, as far as businesses go, were all like, crafted in Orlando. Like we started our careers in Orlando. So we finally gotten to a point where we're like, no, we've got a cool scene. Like we've been around since the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And instead of, the other iterations had been more of like a, businessy kind of aspect to it, more of like a, let's just do it for profit, those kind of things. We all jumped together, volunteered as kind of a big marketing push. So there's 5 of us on the committee. And we basically just kind of create more of a marketing dynamic to kind of allow people to kind of grasp onto what's going on that week. A lot of the breweries will submit their event ideas. We'll help kind of get people together who may not know each other kind of thing. So it's really just trying to see who needs what to kind of propagate what they're doing.
Also, you could highlight, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but like some of your smaller guys could get propped up here,
Yeah,
right?
for
by,
sure.
by bigger guys and have this like totally cohesive unit. What are some of the events do you have? What
Oh,
are some of the
dude.
ones that you would highlight, or are there just tons of
There's
things
there's
happening?
tons of them, man. But I'll give you some cool bullet
Yeah,
point
yeah,
ones. So
please.
everything's kicking off at a la carte over the Soto location.
Nice.
Yeah, they're doing that at 6 p.m. on Friday. So they'll have like all the breweries out there, cool lineup of like very diverse styles of all local beer. We'll have like Beer Week merch available out there. You guys have the Science on Tap on Saturday.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Love that event. I did that last year, and I got to say it was like a really cool twist on a beer festival because we've all seen those things like a dime a dozen, right? But when you've got like exploding watermelons and like random animals walking around and like learning stuff, it was super cool.
Yeah, it makes it cooler to have
Yeah.
other things added. Well, I mean, let's be honest, like you just said, Beer Fest needed something, right?
You got to change it up a little bit, man.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
that one is truly unique.
yeah, I mean, like the beer fest have been great and they've always helped our industry, but at a certain point, it was just walking in and drinking stuff you can get at Publix. So like,
Right,
you just
right.
got to kind of diversify it a little bit.
Write down exploding watermelon. We'll get one of those for our beer fest.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze meets Gallagher.
Yeah, I always thought
Yeah.
it would be funny. This is one of my dumbest ideas. Maybe you told me this is my dumbest idea. I thought it would be funny to do a beer fest, but only the worst beer, cheap beers. It's all cheap beers.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you have like you have a Miller, you have a Coors Light, a Miller Light, a Corona Light. All just and you try to cover them all.
Paps.
Paps, you get a
Yeah.
Paps.
High
yeah.
Life.
Yeah.
Yeah, all cheap light beers.
Instead of a sable glass, you get a brown paper bag.
Yeah, you get like a bucket.
Yeah.
Like you can have as much as you want. Okay. Anyway, yeah.
A Bud Ice.
Oh, Bud Ice, Red Dog, Tequila. I mean, the hits go on and
Oh,
on.
100%.
Old English.
Yeah. Oh, that's malt liquor. That's a different festival.
Yeah.
Right.
So what do you got? What else you got?
So yeah, man, that's kicking everything off, and then a couple different events on Saturday as well outside of Science on Tap. Red Light's doing a cool cask ale celebration, so they kind of
Nice.
team up with their chef and do a lot of like British-inspired food, a bunch of like
Cool.
cask-style beers. Sideward's having their Sabbath on Sunday.
Yeah.
So-
Now, am I correct in thinking that most of this was this planned to try and have everybody's event line up this way, or did this just happen?
It's weird because like at first everyone's just kind of like putting out events willy-nilly,
Yeah.
and I think you just kind of start to see the anchor points.
Sure.
More or less, and then so people kind of work around that, and it just kind of organically turns into this every day is something cool, so no one's like really stepping on each other's toes kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Like when is Fated Kingdom? Like you're like
So that'll be on the 1st. So that'll be Saturday the 1st, and that's kind of our tail end event that we do, and it is massive, man. So we should
Yeah.
have like 1,200 people for the tickets, and then we usually get about 5,000 or 6,000 people for the street party itself.
that's their beer festival.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
cool, man.
It's humongous.
Yeah, we try to do it a little different too. So we invite like 50 plus breweries from around the world. We've had a really cool opportunity to meet a lot of really cool ones around the U.S., Canada, Brazil, Spain, those kind of things. So they'll come in, but we also want to highlight obviously Orlando beer. So we bring out all the Orlando breweries too, so they can all get to know each other, pour their product too, so that way everyone gets a really cool idea of like the best of all worlds. So
It's good to hear all this beer talk.
yeah, man.
It's because, obviously there's been some challenges, right? With people, I guess, drinking less and, like ingredients being difficult to find and
Sure, yeah,
hard
yeah.
to what's the hardest part of brewing beer?
Right now it's just kind of, seeing where the market goes, like you were saying, people are drinking a little bit less. The newer generations aren't drinking as much, right? So just kind of pivoting and coming up with new brands, new products, those kind of things.
But it makes me want better beer, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah. I mean, like
So if you are drinking less, I'd rather have a handcrafted beer than like a Walmart beer.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people are still coming out. They
Sure.
still want to socialize, but like they may not want to drink, 2 to 5 beers a night.
Right.
So, having some other options for them and being able to do that in house and still creating a cool environment where they still come in and support is great.
So let's talk tactical for a second. So I know that you guys do and are involved with a lot of like street parties they do in Baldwin, and even like the belly flop competition.
Oh, yeah.
that Brendan does, and and so
That's like your collaboration with Cholo Dogs, right? Or-
Yeah. So we started doing that one. We do about 4 big ones a year.
okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you about events and where
You
you
remember
guys
when we
settle-
were young and we do 4 big ones a year?
Well, they're hard.
When you're young,
Oh,
you
hell
can
yeah,
do 4
dude.
big ones a year. But when you're my age, like now, I even looking at one big one, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I got 2 small ones.
So is that where you settled on like about 4 is probably good because there you can do too much and event yourself out.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Where it's like
Yeah.
it's so much you're just constantly just preparing for the next event and then
And it drives you crazy.
yeah.
And then you want to kill your little partner, a little business partner, because he won't shut up. Yeah.
so have you found that to be true as well?
Yeah. We've gotten to that point a couple times where you just kind of feel burnt out. Like you get done with one, the next day an email for the next one already starts. You're like, I just wanted to chill for a second. man."
Yeah.
100%.
But like no, the 4 is good because it's once every quarter we get to be a little bit more diverse with the type of event we do, and it's cool because now people kind of gotten in the habit of looking forward to something every few months. And it doesn't put a lot of pressure on us, at least, to be like, go. Like, you have to do something. You have to over and inundate. So, like, it's a good sweet spot.
Nice.
So I'm curious of your opinion on like we've seen that there's been a handful of breweries close recently in the past like year. I would say you'd see one pop up, the announcer closing.
Restaurants and bars too. I mean, R.I.P. Hammered Lamb. That'll be gone very soon.
And we know it's an extremely hard business to begin with, but what do you think the reason for those closures? I know every single situation is different, obviously, and there's a million things that contribute to things like that. But do you think it's just leveling out, that there was maybe too many breweries, or is each one just individual? Because it seems like a lot of craft breweries, they've kind of settled on like keeping it smaller and not distributing as wide as they used to. That was a business model. It's like, let's distribute as much as we can. And now it's like, hey, let's just keep it like a local bar that brews beer and then bring in local
Also,
customers.
to piggyback with what you're saying, the chat room says the problem with a lot of craft breweries is the people who open breweries tend to like to drink a lot. I will say that of the 2 of you that I've met just in passing of being around here and knowing you and then going to your actual brewery, you guys are always like real straight professional, and I don't see any of that. So that would check out.
Yeah.
You're very focused in what you do. I mean, with the military background, you're very organized. I feel like you guys know what you're doing. You got a goal.
Yeah,
You're not
for sure.
just like, you didn't, like, I do feel like
what's
a lot.
the fun in that?
I know. I know.
I own a brewery to sit down and get drunk every day.
I know, but maybe I'm totally stereotyping you, and you tell me if I'm wrong. But I kind of get this picture of 2 guys. They have a goal. They know what they want to do. Their rucksack is packed correctly. They know exactly where they're marching. Instead of the guy, and there's a lot of these guys, and you've sold to a lot of these guys where they throw a ton of money at something, have no idea what they're doing, and don't even try to formulate a plan. They just throw the money at it.
No, for sure.
And
man.
it is really fun. Don't get me wrong, but then you end up closing up shop.
I think
But you have a plan.
to kind of go on both of those. Yeah, I mean, like, Doug and I have been in the industry for many years, and like we've kind of seen people come and go where they don't know where that line is, or like, they're not really focusing on the specifics. I mean, at the end of the day, you're running a business, right? Like, beer is great. We got into it because we love beer, and we cut a little loose after all the job's done, for sure. But we definitely try to keep it on the straight and narrow while we're doing stuff.
That's our
But-
problem. It's the
Yeah.
drugs. It's the drugs.
Yep.
I've been telling you, drugs and alcohol.
But yeah, you got to stop.
It's tearing our business apart.
Pulling
we
them out
don't-
right now.
Yeah, we don't do that. We don't do any of that.
No, but the on the closing aspect too, kind of like you said, it's really difficult to say as an umbrella statement because everything is so specific. But the pandemic didn't help. A lot of people weren't able to bounce back from that, or even the fact that just like everybody's business plan is so unique, right? So
You should see how unique ours is.
Yeah.
It's wild. It'll blow your mind. Like, you would look at it, you'd be like, "Oh my god!" It's written. First of all, it's written on a square piece of paper in a circle.
Yeah. I saw it on a cocktail napkin.
It's called a manifesto. Tom specializes in them, right? Show him your latest manifesto. I get excited when he shows this thing.
No, I mean, Chris is not there.
That old thing.
I don't want to steal our ideas.
That's what a true crazy person would say.
Frozen watermelons. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
So let's talk about the military. I want to put my son.
I was wondering if you were going to ask
All right,
questions.
okay.
Give him some discipline.
Because both of you guys were in the military, correct?
So I will say I was never in the military.
Oh, you weren't in the
Doug
military.
was in the military for
Okay.
a long time. My family was, but that's their success, not mine. I don't want to be that guy.
Sure.
But being in that environment, getting to know a lot of the people that have been involved, and being kind of this like low key hub for veterans and those kind of things,
Yeah.
you get to know the lifestyle for sure. So yeah, what are you thinking, man?
Well, I like the part where they put tear gas, or they also make you line up naked, nut to butt. This is all the stuff my buddy the Grizz told me.
He may have been lying to you.
They naked nut to butt, and also tear gas while you're sitting in a room. Everybody's going. You know what I'm saying?
This is how I start my day.
And during boot camp, at least, and it toughens you up.
Yeah.
And that's what maybe I could just emulate that at home.
So you're going to make your boy stand up to my... What happened? Like, boy, that's going to wind up in therapy. What happened? My dad made me stand nut to butt with my brother. Then he tear gassed us.
That's not going to be
That's why,
when they get
and
older.
that's why I robbed the liquor store.
When they get
That's
older.
why I blew up the bank.
Be on Dr. Phil later.
Yeah. Dr.
It
Phil.
makes you tough.
No, you're not. You'll be on a Steve Wilkos. You're trashier than Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil's up here. You be on the Steve Wilkos show, who, if you're asking, Dan, who's Steve Wilkos? That was the original security guard for the mayor of Cincinnati. What's his name? Jerry Springer. Steve Wilkos, the Steve Wilkos show. He was Jerry Springer's guy.
Is he the bald guy? The big one?
The bald guy. And
Okay.
he's still got a show right now.
I can't believe that just came
Oh
back.
my God! If my dad were still living right now, I know where he'd be, in front of the TV watching Steve Wilkos.
Are there any trends, Chris, you see now, like in the past couple of years, that people are like leaning towards a certain style of beer? Like, or is it all over the place? I'm like, are people like, like IPAs are seasonal?
I don't know the trend now, and I feel like I kind of got it, and I would see where things would go. And the last one I left off on was when we were all into pale ales. Like hey, we're all into pale ales now. And where are we at now, trendy wise?
It's kind of cool, man. It's turned into like a big whole like pie, right? There's sections of it. You got your people who are diehard into like sour beer. Like lagers and like lighter, like crispy boy kind of styles are coming back really hard now too, which is cool because that's what we like to drink.
Yeah.
So the lagers are doing great. I mean, IPAs will always be a smash, right? And then more so just kind of creative stuff done well, right? Because I'm sure like we've made that accident. I'm sure you've had it before where you hear about like this really cool, crazy idea and you try and it's like, that maybe shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But like being able to pull it off in a creative way and kind of doing that, I think it's all across the board and just having something that kind of like blankets as far as your portfolio goes. So you have something for everybody, right? There's not just like one style going on right now. So being able to do a lot of them is a good way to go about it.
In preparation for you being here, I was trying to think of things that our businesses have in common. And I do think there are some. In fact, I feel like the beer boom and the podcast boom are kind of floating up here.
I could see that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what it really does come down to is your customer service, and then again, like your consistency of quality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, the number one thing in podcasting is trying to stay consistent because, it's going to be impossible for us to have home run mega shows every single time. I think our average is pretty high for making people laugh, but same with you guys. I feel like what you guys do is almost you got to take almost like a notch back to simplicity to make sure all of your beers are just quality beers, and then people will totally respect that. It's almost like we're swinging back to like, hey, it's okay if it's simple. We just want it good.
Well, the difference between their business and our business.
Yes, they make money.
Well, it would be like with the saturation of podcasts, it would be like if a brewery opened up every other house within 1,000 square miles opened a brewery next to Tactical. And
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I was like, which brewery do you want to go to? You have 10,000 options, all within walking
He's also
distance.
referencing because one day we sat here and we're like, how many podcasts are like if you really think about it, all of them are our competition. So how many are we competing against? It's 6.4 million.
Yeah, that's insane.
It is
Yeah.
insane.
So trying to
Right.
stand out in a crowd like that
Yeah.
is crazy, man.
It's not.
And
it's
our
hard.
our podcast is like that rare sour that not that many people are into.
Yeah,
And then only a few.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
yeah.
I can only do a little. I can only do one.
Yeah. So only a few bearded fatzos and some weird chicks are into it.
That actually sounds exactly like us.
All right, there it is. There we are the same. Well,
Bearded fat
Chris.
once again, let's plug
Yeah.
Orlando Beer Week and when it kicks off and when it's going on, and then you could probably reach out to your local brewery. I mean, is what I would say.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different information channels. So Orlando Beer Week has a Facebook, has social media. It's on Instagram. So we repost any event that's going on out there. So if you're looking for something to do that week and you're bored, it's kind of your fault. There's tons of information on those kind of aspects. And then also, too, depending on where you're at, what breweries you love, what bottle shops you love, whatever bars, keep an eye on what they're doing, too, man. There's a good chance they're going to be doing a few events throughout the week. So that way you can kind of plan out your week and pick your nights as far as where you're going. So
There you go.
Awesome.
Now you did it. You called somebody in the chat room. They didn't like the weird girl comment. Great job. Now we got a lady breathing down our neck.
Lots of people don't like lots of things.
Look at this guy. He's angry.
What do you want me to do about it? I'm just saying the truth.
It's your inner core.
You think you're normal with watching this?
If you're
Tuesday
watching
afternoon
this, you're
at
definitely
1.
not normal if you're watching this.
Oh, you're like, I hate being called weird. Well, I hate being called dumb. Lots of us hate lots of things. Anyway, Chris,
Hey, thanks for being here, man.
yeah, thanks for having me,
Yeah,
man. I appreciate the support,
anytime.
guys.
Hey, swing by if you ever want to just play pinball. Just open the door.
Yeah,
walk
you're,
right in.
You're going to regret that, man.
Yeah, just walk right in. All right, we'll be right back.
Yep.